Hello and welcome once again to Breakfast All Day. I am Christy. That is Matt. That is Matt's mom. That is Alonso. So up next for us is the latest from Sofia Coppola, reuniting her with Bill Murray. It's called On the Rocks. Alonso.
Yes. This is, I think, maybe the quintessential Bill Murray role as written, but this is also very much Rashida Jones's movie. So it's nice that the two of them work together so well. Rashida Jones plays a woman who is a blocked author and is married to a marketing guy played by Marlon Wayans. They have two kids. They had a very sexy and passionate relationship, but now it's all about scheduling ballet classes and trying to figure out vacations. And they're both frazzled. And when he comes back from a work trip with a female colleague's toiletry case in his suitcase, Rashida Jones begins to suspect something might be going on. She makes the mistake of confiding this to her father, Bill Murray, who is a serial flirt and who cheated on Rashida Jones's mother. And he, of course, assumes the very worst. And so the two of them go into spy mode and start following Marlon Wayans around New York City and eventually elsewhere in the hopes of catching him red-handed. And Rashida Jones has to sort of come to terms with some realities about her relationship with her husband, her relationship with her father, and just her own sort of sense of self as a person. I love this movie so much. I had no idea Sofia Coppola could be funny. And this movie is just, it's a lark. It's really entertaining.
What do you love about it?
I think the two lead performances are great. Again, I was so worried that it was going to become the Bill Murray show and he was just going to kind of blow everybody off the screen. But Rashida Jones is so like such a gifted comic performer and whip smart and completely like stakes this out for herself. This is the kind of like bougie, glossy New York we've seen in a lot of movies with doorman buildings and, you know, fancy parties at the St. Regis or whatever. But the fact that like you have a lot of characters in the cast being people of color is new and different. Like we don't really get to see a Whit Stillman, Woody Allen style of, you know, New York City that has people that look like Marlon Wayans and Rashida Jones in it. There's a recurring character played by Jenny Slate, who I thought was hysterical. I love the way this movie is paced. Bill Murray, like I said in my review in TheWrap, people are going to think about this performance with him the way we think about All About Eve and Bette Davis, in terms of it's a combination of what this performer does really well and what our perception of that performer in real life is like, kind of mushed together. I had the best time watching this movie. It was the cure for what ailed me.
I'm close to Alonso on this one. I found it pretty delightful. I won't at all be surprised to see Murray get an Oscar nomination out of this. And, you know, is it deserved for this particular performance? You know, that's a good question, but this is the kind of performance and role that I think everybody would feel good about giving him an Oscar for. And it'll be one of those body of works, but he really is great in this. He's arguably never been more charming. What I'm fascinated about this is what this says about Sofia Coppola's relationship with Francis Ford Coppola, who is also known as a bon vivant. And you wonder how much of that...
And Rashida Jones's relationship with Quincy Jones.
Right. And you wonder how much of that, you know, but specifically that Sofia Coppola wrote this, how much... you know, that maps to experiences she's had with her own father, who, you know, would understandably know everyone everywhere. And I think one of the things this movie does really well is it shows an adult child of the type of person who commands a room or just makes friends everywhere and knows everybody. And it's not that she's standing in the shadows, but it's still overwhelming. And it's still like it to get swept up in that requires something that, you know, you have to kind of be on all the time. And I found that fascinating. I thought that their chemistry was really good. I really, really liked this a lot.
I wanted to love this the way you guys do, because I really love Sofia Coppola. I even love Marie Antoinette. You know, I love the tone she's able to set and the texture to her films and just the attention to detail in every bit of, you know, stuff around the house and knickknacks and clothing, and she sets a mood and creates a really vivid sense of place, and that is true here as well. This just felt very slight to me, and I was found it charming. It is definitely Bill Murray's most charming performance yet. And I love the interplay with him and Rashida Jones. And I like the fact that she's trying to pull off this very old school New York screwball comedy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she infuses it with like the melancholy, the underlying melancholy that is so much the signature of so much of her work. If you look at The Virgin Suicides or Marie Antoinette or Somewhere, like a lot.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, but like everything but the bling ring, pretty much. But like that's so her tone.
I always forget about the bling ring. I was gonna say it's so exciting that she makes a movie about a woman who gets to leave her apartment, because so many of her films are about cloistered women, going all the way back to the first thing she ever wrote, which was Life Without Zoe, about the girl who lives in the I forget which hotel, whatever, the Eloise Hotel, the Plaza, and then and as recently as The Beguiled, like there is this recurring thing in her movie about whether it's Marie Antoinette or The Virgin Suicides, or like so many of these stories are about women who are physically or emotionally trapped, and so I loved the fact that Rashida Jones was at least given that amount of physical agency that she had the run of the city. And yeah, it's an old school screwball comedy, almost kind of a caper in a way, there's all but there's the kind of movie where when people are spying on somebody, they're doing it in like a vintage convertible and eating caviar,
That car's terrific though.
It's a lark, but I think a really smart lark, and with some really great performances, and I just adored it.
Well, it's a lark, but also it is, as you say, Alonso, it's bougie. It's like a New York that none of us could ever possibly ever afford to live in.
Right.
But the emotions are so true, and the insecurity that Rashida Jones feels, and the details of their day-to-day life and her struggles to write, and just the mundane stuff with her kids, that roots in a reality that doesn't become obnoxious or ostentatious or hard to connect to. You do relate
or tone deaf.
Yeah, you do relate to this woman. It's also nostalgic for a New York that a year ago existed and maybe is on its way to existing again. New York is not a hellhole anymore, but it's not the frolicking New York of having caviar in the convertible either.
Yeah, I think this movie does a good job of taking what is an easily dismissed idea that like, oh, this, woman in this comfortable life is, feeling a malaise, but it's honest about it, and it treats it seriously, in that she is worried about what's going on with her husband, and she misses him, and she's of an age where it's like, oh, it's not the insanity when we first started. And I think Coppola as a writer is really smart about, giving us kind of the standard, almost like what society says is supposed to happen, through these insane speeches that Bill Murray has, right? To show like, well, that's just the way guys are, right? But she makes it smarter than that, right? There's a lot of times that it's like, hey, dudes are dogs, right? But Coppola as a writer makes that so, like, you get that, yeah, okay, her father has, Felix has thought about this. It's still insane, but it gives Rashida Jones as a foil to kind of think through things. Yeah, I was fascinated with this. It's also clearly somebody who knows and loves New York, right? Like, what do you mean they went to 52nd and 5th and you didn't get and you don't have a red box, right? Or like, always have an affair in the Plaza. It's got the most exits. Like that's somebody who knows a specific type of New York. And it was so fun to kind of be invited into that world.
So what's your number then?
I gave it a 9. This is one of my favorite films of the year.
You gave it a 9.5.
9.5? Okay,
Even
thank
better.
you.
What did I give it?
You gave it a 9, Matt.
I gave it a 9.
Okay.
I'm saying 7.6.
Why do you hate women so much?
I hate women telling women stories.
Mom watched it with me. Did you like it?
Al fresco caviar.
Yeah, I liked it, but I was in that 7 to 8 range.
Okay.
Mom knows what's up. So 8.7 is our number.
Awesome. Well, it begins streaming today on Apple TV Plus, and you can always get a free trial if you don't want to subscribe to Apple TV Plus. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Lots of fun stuff exclusively for our subscribers. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.